Would you like to be safer and less stressed while driving and earn more at the same time? The Driver's Utility Helper app allows you to do just that. Create custom filters and its automated system does the work for you, automatically declining unwanted low-paying requests and accepting more profitable requests so you can focus on driving. Visit acceptordecline.com to get started today.
Is that a new
What's
video?
up, everybody? I'm going to have to keep my head in a certain place to block that sun.
That was a new video, huh?
Was that a new video?
No, that's the DUH one. We're so used to the Maximo one.
I guess that's what
that is true.
That's the other one. I always feel like when Gary's not here, I want to run it because we always run Maximo. I feel like there's still a need to run DUH too.
I use
DoorDash is a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's just because he has more users on DUH and he's always looking to get more onto Maximo and stuff. But I still believe, but there's 10 times the dashers than any other platform. So there's a lot of people who, need to see both. But
DoorDash is synonymous.
Yeah, right. I was gone last week, so I didn't do anything correctly here. So welcome to the RiDESHARE Rodeo Roundtable. I want to welcome Kim, Side Money Plans. I want to welcome Hannibal is Hungry. I want to welcome John, Dash Theory TV. And we have a guest with us this week. We have Shania, and she is from Montreal. Do you say Quebec or Quebec?
I say Quebec, but French is really Quebec.
Yeah, Quebec. Yeah,
it's weird.
Okay. So, but she is from the same market, or kind of, as Ash. We've had Ash on before, and so she's got a channel you guys should check out. Her videos are great. And I don't, me, I don't plug everybody's channel. It's not that I forget either. I just don't. Take that how you will.
I'm on it then.
But yeah, there's a ton of stories here. We'll see what we can get through in the hour, because some of them might cross over to tomorrow. But I tried to pull up a few Canadian ones too that I think are extremely relevant. But one of the first things, before we even jump into the articles, I wanted to, and by the way, welcome chat, and I'll get to you guys in a minute. But
chat.
I wanted to talk about something that Mac from Portland and I did a podcast yesterday for the Para channel, and it's going to be a 2-part. Nova, Dasher, and David and Mac and myself are doing the second part next week. It has to do with DoorDash deactivations, their relationship with Checker, what's going on. There's some messed up stuff going on, and DoorDash is always guilty of wrongful deactivations, accusing people of things. Checker is, like 70% good at their job. So, I mean, it's like the worst app in the world to do a background check. So there's a lot of reasons, but there's a lot of things in the past 2 weeks that have happened to a lot of Dashers who I know have never had issues at all. And I'm just the last 2 weeks alone, either deactivated, and the weakest deactivation in my book is the one that says there's been fraudulent activity on your account, because you can't get any more information on it. And that's just where it's left.
It's crazy.
So I wanted to see what you guys thought. I saw Hannibal put out a video on DoorDash today. And I'm just curious, is DoorDash finally, because look, pandemic, it was pandemic. But after the pandemic, DoorDash made sure that the way that they acquired the market share was to have, like they do now, 4 million plus Dashers in the US alone. So there's like 1.2 million Uber Eats people on the platform. So you're talking 25%. So the market share goes to DoorDash. They earned that. But are they now just trying to thin the herd? Are they because like Nova Dasher's at 21, almost 22,000 lifetime deliveries. He's got a 4.99 rating. He's got only one contract violation in the last 100. I was just looking at his stats. I mean, it's just ridiculous, like his stats. And Mac is pretty much the same. Why are you deactivating people who are pretty much perfection?
I think what you're saying, or what you said earlier about it being like an idea too thin to herd is probably pretty accurate. Everyone is just a number. They're not looking at individuals. So anything can spark something, and it could be obviously problems with their software and how they, they're glitching and finding things that may not necessarily be true. I mean, Nova Dasher has been, I've seen his content for a long time. Yeah. He does everything, in my opinion, by the book. I don't think he does any kind of funny kind of content where he's pretending to eat someone's food or doing things where you would say, okay, that may be a bit, for a problem, but he's a pretty solid guy. So for him to be deactivated for putting in years, he's been doing it before the pandemic. I think he's been doing at least 5 years of DoorDash. There's something wrong, and I think they are thinning to hurt.
And no email either.
Yeah, or it's just not enough information.
He didn't even get an email about it though. He just opened the app and was deactivated. Usually people do that, and then they go to their email. There's an email.
Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't even correspondence.
But hopefully he can get back on it. Hopefully there's, sometimes it happens. Like I've seen it where people are able to get reactivated. It's not very, it's not regular occurrence. But there's definitely, they have too many dashers. They know that. So anything could spark deactivation. They have like 4 million dashers. Do they really need that many?
No.
So
even the pandemic, they look at the goal is to have 3,000% as many drivers as you need at any given time.
Right.
And to the drivers, that kills us. And I'm kind of curious, for you up in Canada, you guys don't, I'm guessing you don't use Checker for your background checks. It's an app. But I'm kind of wondering how that whole process goes. How do you guys get brought onto the platforms? And
I don't remember which company they used to do the background check. I just remember that it was extremely easy with DoorDash versus all of the other apps. Let's not even talk about Uber Eats. But with DoorDash, I signed up. That was the first one that I signed up to. I signed up, and the next day I was like, "You're good to go." And I was like, "Oh, wait, what do I do? What? How do I do this? What's going on?"
So Mac, my friend in Portland, pointed out that he's been doing this since 2018. And he pointed out to me all the apps out there, but DoorDash specifically, he pointed out that he said no background check was ever originally done on it. I don't know that to be true at that time. I do know Mac to be a pretty honest guy. He might be forgetting something too, but if he says it, maybe it is true. If that's the case, from what I could tell from him, this seemed to be the first time he's ever had a background check from DoorDash.
I've heard stories, and I don't have the exact information, where someone will be on the platform for a while, and then they get deactivated based on something that came up on their background check. But how did it come up on it if you already had it to get on DoorDash? So I did a video on this a couple of months ago. This guy, he's like, I've been doing DoorDash pretty well the whole time. Something came up with an old court issue he resolved, but he was already on the platform making money, not causing any problems. His scores were pretty well. So I don't know. I don't understand
for that issue where something comes back up. That's something I'd expect to see on Uber Eats, not on DoorDash, because with Uber Eats, as long as I've been on there, I'm 99% sure that I've gotten that checker background check email complete every year I've been on Uber Eats.
Right.
Now, DoorDash, I've seen that just that one time you signed up. So the fact that DoorDash is rerunning any background checks is suspicious in itself.
Okay, but okay, so that's part of my question. John, do you know for certain if DoorDash did or did not run a background on you when you first signed up?
Oh, I know for certain they did. I remember that being as a part of the process. Yeah. Well, let me rephrase that. I know I got an email from Checker saying that one was done. Did they actually do it? I have no clue.
And see,
I remember Checker
go
too.
on the emails.
See, that goes to my question, because at ParaWorks, we were looking at dealing with Checker. Their track record was so awful, it was worth paying a little extra money to be with a different company for what we needed it for, especially. But their efficiency rating was 77%. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, they're probably the big box mass.
They're cheap.
Check, cheapest option. Yeah,
right. It's cheap, so saving money. They don't really care about the making sure they're bringing on real cool people onto the platform. It's like it's cheap. All right, go on.
It's good enough.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the worst thing about deactivations, even on any platform, but specifically DoorDash, is even if you didn't do anything, like you can't correct anything. You can't defend yourself. You can't, defend your case. You're just deactivated. It's like we're going to deactivate you and then we'll ask questions afterwards, opposed to really finding out why we should be deactivating this driver. And then as a driver, you feel helpless because I'm assuming, I don't know, I've never been deactivated, but I can feel like, wow, I feel helpless because what did I do? I did absolutely nothing, but I can't even defend myself. Like, how do I even get back on a platform? I can't even defend myself, which is just wrong all the way around.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the story from last week. We were talking about how in Seattle, they're going to give the 2-week notice and, a chance to defend yourself. And, maybe the 2-week notice isn't the right approach, but I think that opportunity to defend yourself and, before things are finalized is something that all the platforms should definitely have.
I started the DoorDash during like the pandemic, but didn't before you met a real person or something when you joined DoorDash? Like there's some kind of local.
With Lyft you did.
You used to. DoorDash you used to, yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember when I first signed up for DoorDash, I remember going to some place.
I feel like that the element of just dealing with another human being to communicate, to, like I said, deal with certain things that's going wrong, try to mediate. I mean, we make fun of human resource jobs, but they kind of are important for certain kinds of, to mediate certain situations. There isn't a mediation. It's so cold. You have no idea. You're writing this appeal on why you thought, this contract violation you had is it legit or not. You don't know who's reading it. There's no connection. So that's just one of the problems with these apps. There isn't a real human resource element to it.
But what I don't get is supposedly when they originally, and I'm going back some years when I first started, they actually started, and I can be wrong, but I believe they started contract violations because it was kind of like you get 3 contract violations, you're out, 3 strikes, you're out. Like these are your warnings before you get deactivated. Now it's like contract violations don't even matter and you're just deactivated. Like they're not even using the contract violations as 3 strikes, you're out, you're just deactivated, which I felt like that's what the contract violations were there for, and now they're not. I don't know. I just don't get it.
So,
because I have seen in a few
you guys, I put this in here because Sergio sent it to me today. He was watching the premiere of the Para thing that I'm talking about, and he got me this, and he said that for wrongful deactivations, this is a company you can contact for free. They will talk to you about it.
But you don't know why you're being deactivated. So I guess it is wrong, but there's no information.
Right, but this company already knows that. They're aware of that. And then I see that JP's asking, I thought so at Para, we don't even use that stuff at all. The reason that we were pricing it out and looking at it was because the catering companies that we take on the orders from are also taking on ParaWorks drivers onto their platforms that aren't platforms. Like I can't tell you about some things. People have discovered catering platforms in their town that they didn't even know existed because they're very underground. And for that, we have recommended, because there's different ways each of these catering things pays out to. So the whole thing was more research for the people that were allowing to, or when the people want to take them more into their sector. Again, full transparency on ParaWorks, and like if you want to like break away and go work with one of these companies, almost like how I do with Curry, go ahead. That's what it's there for.
I guess my next point in all of this is with deactivations, I don't know. I just feel like it's just so wrong on so many different levels, because when you think about background checks, you have someone, like all these, like a couple of content creators like Nova that we know personally that do everything right, but yet we see an article like we just did a couple weeks ago where you see a guy who was like on parole and was waiting sentencing and did all these crimes and was going to do thousands of deliveries on DoorDash before he got sentenced. So like there is just such a different level of hypocrisy, is that the right word, behind who's on the platform, who's not on the platform, and it's so not consistent. And that's, I think, where the HR piece comes in, because the HR person is supposed to keep things fair and consistent, and that's just not happening.
Yeah, there's absolutely no rhyme
Yeah.
or reason to what's going on. And then to not have any information also, so that you can't even defend yourself, you can't even, correct what you did wrong. It's
I mean,
Well, then-
for
DoorDash being DoorDash.
for those that want to know though, when you are when they do send you something, or they should be, they always have, they do send you something when they're about to do a background check. And there's or at least as far as I know, in most of them, I'll say most, I know in most of them, there's a way to opt that you want to copy. I mean, you can also contact checker, I'm sure, but to opt that you want a copy of that report.
Mhm.
I would always do that, you guys, and then file them away in your emails, because in Mac's case, I need to, this is so weird. So Mac is from Idaho, Boise, lives in Portland for the last 3 years, Oregon. Him and his family, I always make a joke about the Drivens having 17 kids. Mac truly does. He's my age. He has 10 kids and 7 grandkids.
Wow.
Busy man.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I'm
busy
like,
man.
whoa.
So he's always working in the area. He's done a lot of background checks for Uber Eats, for some of the other platforms, and they know exactly where he's lived. He's had an Oregon license that he uses on all the apps for past 3 years. The last checker thing that happened, so he had a checker done about a month and a half ago on his Uber Eats, passed flying colors. Okay, you're all good. Keep going. Then 6 weeks later, had another one done for DoorDash, and he found out that he did get a little information out of checker, which was that he only lived. They're like, well, where do you live now? Because 3 years ago you lived in Idaho. Are you still there? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, you guys have run like 15 checks on me. And they're like, well, that's all we have is up till Idaho. And he's like, I left Idaho 3 years ago. My whole family lives in Portland. I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I have a Oregon license on file with you. He's like, you've told other people I'm fine. You've done the background check. And that was yesterday. All this went down. So again, on the part 2 next week, we're going to find out what happened to Nova, how it's been resolved, what went down with Mac's thing, and how it got resolved. Because this is just strange stuff. Why would the same company have 2 different reports on you?
And then
that's
this is
very
the last
sketchy.
thing I was going to say too. Don't they, when you get deactivated on these platforms, don't they freeze your earnings?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the other.
Yep.
I mean, dude, to me, I don't even care if you write that in the TOS. I don't know how that's legal.
I
I don't know how they
understand that
work
either.
things up in Canada, but here, at least in Colorado, and I know it's a state to state. Most states do it. The day you're fired, you're allowed all of your pay.
That's how it
Yeah.
should be. It should be the other way around. It should be we have to cash you out instantly for free if we deactivate you. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
It has to be illegal. How can you take someone's earnings that they've actually physically earned and have worked for and take it away?
It's
has
in
to
the
be
DoorDash
illegal.
file. It's set. I mean, in the DoorDash terms, it says it. And I don't even read all the terms, but it says it. It says
Says
if
what?
you are deactivated,
Mhm.
you are not owed your pay for that period. You are not
So if
owed. You might be paid it, but you're not owed it, because I think what they're saying is we're
It
going to
could
have
be
to look at that
fraudulent earnings.
period and see what else you did. And if maybe you didn't earn any of that, maybe you're just a thief, or
But-
some BS that.
But if
I
you
understand if they freeze it while they investigate or something, but at some point you have to give people their money that they worked for.
See, unfortunately, though, what are you going to do? Sue them? We can't,
Yeah.
because you clicked the box saying that you won't do civil,
You take
you
'em to
won't do solo
arbitration.
suits. You got it right. You got to take the route that doesn't do anything for you.
There's a
For
new
how-
TOS, by the way, as you're talking about box, I got a new TOS today. I haven't dashed in maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And when I logged in, I was like, oh, and obviously you have to check the box to start. Who's reading that as you're going out there to work
yeah.
for a bit? So I didn't even get to read through it. I don't know. I haven't been on YouTube, so I don't know if anyone spoke about a new TOS, but yeah, a new one popped up.
Well, they
on my
always
phone
do
this
it, like Kim pointed out. They always do it at lunch or when you need to go on that minute. They pick that perfect time where they're like, even if you would read it, you're not going to do it now.
You have no time.
But if they wanted to, and I'm making this up, they can say every brunette person who works on the DoorDash has the potential of being deactivated tomorrow. They can put that in their terms of service and hold them accountable for it because it's in their terms of service, but then you can't sue because it's not, like, it's just so convoluted. Like, it baffles my brain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of shocked at this point that even if we don't have all the legislation in place and everything looks very sloppy at the moment, I am very surprised that we don't have something in place that at least says, like you're saying, like, hey, listen, unless they committed murder or something, get them their money.
Yeah, there should be some easy legislation. Yeah, transparency.
You're innocent until proven guilty. I mean, so even if they are investigating, you're
So
still owed your money.
let me play devil's advocate here. So what if they're committing fraud or like something where they're manipulating something, either it's an app
And they
or
deserve to
whatever.
have their accounts frozen because it's fraud.
Frozen, but you still would pay them.
I think they should be paid them, and then they should, obviously they deactivate you, and
Yeah.
if it's above a certain amount, like you're saying, it's $50,000 or even $2,000, maybe then okay, we only give you this much. But
I don't know if we're
all
talking
of it
about,
is
or at least
ridiculous.
the case with Uber Lyft Phoenix, Aaron, right? He I think it was like $1,700 he was owed. They didn't give him back to him, but they accused him of reporting restaurants closed when they were open. So does that factor in? Like, well, you've collected a lot of money. Again, I don't think he did that, but that's what he was accused of doing.
I think
Does DoorDash have the right to hold that money?
Even if he did do that, it's
I don't think he did,
it's
but-
okay. But it's okay. That's in the terms of service.
But
It is actually okay what he did if he did do that.
But why can't they do, and this happened to me, going back into my retail years, if an employee got caught stealing or whatever, even if it's money, clothing, whatever, like they still got paid, but they had to pay restitution back to the
Yeah.
company for stealing what they stole. So why can't they do the same judgment on dashers, like actually charge them restitution with some kind of like court of law to get their money back, and that way it's legal giving the dashers the money that they actually they're owed by working the platform.
Well, I think that's because they probably have no evidence. It'd be a whole kangaroo court. Like it.
They're
I think
lazy.
that's
They didn't want to
they
do all
can't
that.
prove.
Yeah, but
that
why?
they're going to deactivate
Or
you over $3.50.
but to go like a step further, why not do something? I mean, at least here's something because, like, let's be honest, with 4 million dashers, and we're not even talking about Canada. We're not even talking about her neck of the woods. We're just talking about 4 million here. With 4 million dashers and the amount of deactivations that go on a day, if they're holding that for even a week, because on most of the time they end up just not allowing you instant payout, but they'll pay you out on your next day, whether it be 5 days or 7 days. They'll still get you the money. Here's my thing. Do you know how much money you can make holding just even a driver's $1,000 for a week if you're doing 100,000 drivers a day? Like the interest you can make on investing that. This is the kind of sketchy stuff that I don't put past them. Look, that they're taking, okay, Aaron's owed $1,500. Put that in there, make us $100, then get him his $1,500 in 6 days.
Can I make a public service announcement?
Yes.
Drivers, if you're watching this, cash out every day. I don't care whether it's $1.99. I don't care whether it's 50 cents. Cash out every single day. If you wait until the end of the week, even if you're part-time and have $150 to $300, you're telling DoorDash or any of these companies that that's their money to take, and it's not. It's yours. Please cash out every single day. Okay, that's my public service announcement.
Yeah. I see that JP's making a comment how, and I was agreeing with you, Kim, how it's because it's W-2 and their employees as independent contractors. You're doing it at your own risk. And I do know that in the true independent contractor world, like Marissa is a tax accountant, she's saying that if somebody doesn't pay her, she has to sue them. True. But we're in an undefined space that's balancing between employment and independent contractor and using both sides to its advantage. So to me, I don't know, to me, in all honesty, these apps shouldn't even charge you and they should cash you out daily. I know
Yeah,
it
that
might suck
stretch
for
to me
them,
doesn't
but
really make any sense.
you know,
I know but I'm assuming it's because there are fees. There are fees that they need to pay for us to cash out. So most likely that's why they're charging.
But I would
us.
think DoorDash is a big enough bank where
Would
they
be.
are working with a bank that would say, dude, we'll waive those fees if you're going to bring your banking to us.
I mean, isn't there a DoorDash credit
Yeah,
card? Yeah.
of all of them, but DoorDash has like the biggest fee. It's $1.99, where every other platform, well, Uber Eats now is 80 cents, but almost every other platform is like 50 cents to cash out.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because DoorDash can easily lower that fee. But I think part of that is trying how they get to you to use that Dash or Direct card.
So I just want to segue into this for a quick second because I don't want to talk about it. It's messed up, but it's a Dasher done good. But it's a messed up story, you guys. I think it just I wanted to bring it up because we've been talking about some of these stories about, like, you know, this poor food delivery person in Florida who got pulled into the house and dismembered, and all these other people who are being attacked and all that's going on. And we've pointed out that it's going on everywhere, though. I mean, this was just a mom, her baby in a stroller crossing the street, some dude talking to himself. As he passed them, he said something to the baby, and then he just started wailing on his face. The Dasher stopped and like held him down till the police got there and got him arrested. But he just started beating up a baby in a stroller.
That's
What?
ridiculous.
So good
That's
Dasher
ridiculous.
story, horrible story.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But I guess
We truly
but
are
part of me saying that
superheroes.
too is that we talk about it like the gig economy is getting nailed. Everybody's just crazy right now.
Where was that happening?
It is. It called it. It might be in somewhere near you because it keeps calling it South End.
South End.
South.
Yeah, I mean here in New York City, and even where.
Oh no,
Kim was
Charlotte.
at.
Sorry.
Charlotte. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we were dealing with the mental health issue in a really intense, overwhelming way where no one knows what to do. And there's not a lot of resources because you can't necessarily make money doing this. So why would anyone care? And it just becomes such a crazy situation, especially us being outside every single day. Like, I'm outside every day. It's rarely I can be in the house and not go outside. I have to be outside doing something. And the more times you're outside, the more likely you're going to either deal with something that you're going to see. Like, should someone jump in? Like, obviously, that situation, I think all of us would jump in. But other situations, you see people arguing, do you jump in and try to be that good Samaritan? You say, or you say, that's not my business, keep moving forward. Like, I don't know, man.
I guess it depends on what it is.
Yeah.
I just go with my intuition. You know, if it looks like two teenagers, I'm just gonna let them deal with their stuff.
No, you're gonna say, hey boys, break it up over here. What are you doing? No,
you know? But I mean, like, something as surreal to me as this. Yeah, I'm getting out of the car. I probably wouldn't be as nice as just holding the guy down either. I'd have a little fun beating on him while the cops are coming.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Yeah, the guy beat a baby. That guy deserves to get beat.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean,
I think to me, like, I think I've said this before here, but I'm going to say it again. Sorry, I'm going to be repetitive, but I think it goes down to the times that, like, I really think COVID had an effect on even a lot of people being locked up, being isolated. And I still think we are going to continue to see the effects of a lot of mental issues and a lot of mental health things that are happening, and people just snapping, and it's horrible. And I just wish people would, I don't know.
But particularly with the younger people, it affected them like kids, young adults, people still trying to figure themselves out. It's devastating. Even this little situation with the air being, the way it is here in New York City. Mm-hmm. People still driving aggressively, impatient. I guess they're trying to go home, but it's like, oh, hold on a second. It's hazy over here. How about we all drive and chill? That's still intense, angry. I'm here for myself. That whole vibe happened at least the last 2 days.
Is that how you guys always drive though?
Yeah, it's a little bit more. It's a little bit more intense. I would say that at least for the last 2 days.
New York on high alert.
They're like, we're mad. I want to go home. Get out of my way. And I'm like, hold on. How about we all slow down? I don't know. But I think that's where the situations are getting more intense, different. Obviously, what happened 3 years ago, even this little situation here, and some people don't know how to handle it.
So Shayana, up in Canada, does this kind of stuff, is this kind of stuff happening? Or are you like going, what is wrong with you people?
There's people beating babies in the street.
Well, I don't hear any stories about people beating babies in the street. That's for sure.
That's a
But
rare
I mean,
one, Steve.
have you had like a lot of Uber Eats and rideshare drivers attacked in the last, let's say, even 6-8 months? Like we're always having them attacked, but we've had really high numbers with it.
Yeah, I haven't been hearing any stories over here. All the stories that I've been hearing lately have been in the States, which
Makes sense.
It just
I'm not
doesn't
gonna
go
say
on
that
there
in Canada.
really,
Like
right?
everyone thinks like, oh, Canada, everyone's so nice, and we say hi to everybody. No, it's not like that. Like you still have some areas that are pretty dangerous. You don't want to go to, but I feel like when Hannibal was talking about mental health, I feel like maybe there are more resources here for people that are struggling with it.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's why we don't see it as much. But don't get me wrong, we still don't have enough resources because there are still people out there that are struggling with it. You see a lot of homeless people depending on where you live. But I feel like there are a lot more nonprofit organizations here. That's something that's really big in Canada. I know 3 people that have nonprofit organizations just in my city alone. So
That's great.
I think the mentality is also a little bit different. Like, yes, okay, we're nice, we're happy, we like to help people. So I think that's where the help comes from, because
Different
you have
culture.
more people that are
She
looking
literally
to
just said
actually-
we're not.
You guys are rude.
It's more, there's the financial side of it, right?
Yeah.
But there's a lot more like government grants and all that kind of stuff for nonprofit organizations as well. So it's very different. But no, I don't hear those crazy stories, or else.
Because
Sounds
like
like
when
a
it-
Florida
when it be
man
out
does
there.
XYZ in Canada.
Florida man.
Oh man!
So
when
yeah,
I heard
mean,
that
I guess
story, that was insane.
when we had Ash on here, she was explaining, because I've always had a curiosity for how medicine and all that works up there, and she was explaining how yes, everybody has access to medicine, but it's not good. You still are going to want to pay and get something better, and
Yes.
yada yada. But I actually would go as far as to say, well, on that one subject, I mean, clearly, I think there's proof there. You have less incidents. You have people who maybe aren't fully treated but partially treated.
Yes, because like anyone can walk into the hospital. Like I remember when I had my first child, and I was in the mommy groups, and it was Canada and US, and we're talking about like, oh, okay, we can't wait, and we're so excited and all that stuff. Don't even get started on maternity leave, because that was like they wanted to kill us because they found out how much we have. But just giving birth, some of the moms were like, oh, we're gonna have to spend XYZ, and I was like, what? You're bringing a child into this world. What do you mean you got to go into debt to have a child?
Yeah.
Like it made no sense to me, but it's a reality that's in the States that we do not have. Yes, you can walk into the hospital and, ask to see a doctor. You're going to wait maybe 12, 15, 18 hours, but you'll be seen.
Right. So the waiting is the only thing, because
The
obviously everyone
waiting
has
is the
access.
thing.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's how Ash worded it too. It's too with the what she called the bad one. She's like, you can wait 20 hours. Like,
easily.
I mean, can you
Easily.
go home?
Children's
and come back?
hospital,
They call you?
any hospital.
Mm.
You're gonna
So
wait, but it's
having
free.
So is having a child free in Canada?
Having a child is free in Canada. Once you have your Medicare card, anything medical is free in Canada.
That's
You can go private. So let's say with us, anytime that we need to go see a doctor and it's really urgent, we're not going to wait 12, 15 hours in the hospital. We'll go private. But then your insurance company at your work, like my boyfriend's work, it covers that. So whatever, we pay it.
I mean,
but then
does
we
it
get
cover it
back.
all, or is it kind of like us? You have a deductible, and
It depends on which plan you have. So we have the higher plan. So you pay for that, yes, but it's going to cover it. So you don't have to worry when you go to the dentist,
no, I'm pointing out, and it's gotten worse here now. Like on most medical plans, if you go back 15 years, even they didn't work this badly, but now you have to, if you have a decent insurance, and you have it privately. Now you have to pay the first 10,000 out of pocket, then they cover it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those kind of things where
Wow.
it's
Yeah,
like,
because
dude,
everybody
this
has
is
$10,000 just sitting in their
Just
account,
sitting there.
you know?
Well, no, I'm saying like if I go and I need to spend $600 at urgent care, that's coming out of my pocket. They might pay like 100, but I'm paying 5 till I get up to 10,000. Then they'll cover everything for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Wow.
But then they only when it's only like a certain amount though that they'll cover the the entire thing. So
See,
say
I
you
have I
expensive-
have the as unlimited as you can get it, but the 10,000 because I figure it's basically the only reason I have it's for catastrophic. Even it's $1 million. Cool, I'll pay 10 grand. You know, like,
Catastrophic cap. Yeah.
You know,
But there
you
are
pay the
Steve
other
is always in
900.
those mountains. So.
There are
Um,
insurances though out there that you do have a deductible, but say you have like a really expensive surgery, they only cover up to a certain amount of like that surgery.
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, USA insurance is more like a casino. It's like, okay, how little can I pay and how much can I get out?
Yeah.
They're thinking the same thing. We're just trying to figure. It's like a casino.
I mean, here's
I
one
was
thing
gonna
I've
say,
always
thank
looked
God
into. Because I do a lot of backcountry stuff and I'm pretty hard on my body, I've never wanted the plastic replacement parts if I ever need them. So like my plan, just for example, will cover titanium,
Makes sense.
which
Yeah.
is huge. I don't want to get a knee replaced if I blow one out with plastic and have it replaced 3 times. I want titanium. I want to become bionic.
I'm just
Not
very
bionic, not DuPont, not Rubbermaid.
Yeah, I'm just very fortunate. I'm just very fortunate that I'm on my husband's insurance. I'm very grateful. Just going through as a gig worker, looking at Stride or any one of these companies that have private insurances, you look at them and go, "Whoa!"
I don't think what do you get? Do you get anything?
Like a really high deductible. That's what you get.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I should look into that. It don't look appealing to me when you see those.
JP, I am through the marketplace. This year was a screw up. I've been with Blue Cross Anthem for years, and now I'm with a different company. Long story, I won't get into it, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a happy ending, and it wasn't nice Steve on the phone with him. So, but John is going to talk about this DC partnering DoorDash thing. I want to hear about this too because I'm wondering if they're getting off easy.
Well, DC is going to be partnering with the DoorDash. Essentially, there's going to grant a $500,000 grant or some type of similar to scholarship type of fund for gig workers and DoorDash drivers to get dash cams. They said they're going to be getting estimated 5,000 dash cameras will be available to eligible drivers. So, it's interesting because, I think it's a step in the right direction because I think anybody who's doing gig work should have a dash cam or some type of recording device.
Oh, absolutely.
I think all these gig companies should have some type of stipend for all their gig workers to have it. It would save both parties money. I mean, how many times could somebody who said they didn't get their delivery be like, "Oh, we have the dash cam footage that you did."
Well, I think the problem is they wouldn't want to send out a camera to everybody because most people quit.
That's a good point.
Yeah, they'll sign up just for the camera.
I mean, like
Just
me,
resell it on Amazon.
I have an old clamp on one that's on my rear view, but I also have Display Ride for free. But I mean, Display Ride's a free camera for anybody if you just pay the $20 a month, and that's real time upload. So if they grab it, you still got them. Because almost 90+% of the dash cams out there are not uploading to the cloud.
That's a
But
good
it's going to SD card. You gotta take it out.
Yeah, but I mean, like, people are getting smart and they're just grabbing the camera and ripping it out and going. Then you got nothing.
Yeah.
But I mean, usually a dash cam is like for an accident or I think at that point,
I
if
think for
somebody's
gig workers
breaking your
though,
whole car,
you might want to, with all that's been we don't have the benefit of living in Canada where they don't get robbed every time.
And they're so nice.
I mean, seriously, like, I don't even think I see news that like people die up there by other people.
No. We have our
you're not a violent people. You're hunters.
It's actually funny. My boyfriend was just telling me that this like tiny city in Ontario that's like really close to Detroit, so it's Waterloo. It's considered the most dangerous city. And I'm like, we were just there. There's Amish people and like people on like carriages. Like, how is that the most dangerous city? It makes no sense. But no, there are some areas.
I think it's because I actually know this. I'm from Michigan. So I actually think I know this. It's because Windsor was there with gambling like 30 years, 40 years before Detroit had it. And so we all used to cross the bridge. And I think that's down south of Windsor just a little bit.
It is.
And I think that became the ghetto of that area.
Oh.
And
see,
so,
you're teaching me about Canada.
I don't really know. I don't know. I'm just saying. I know that Ontario or that Windsor was pushing them out. They didn't want as much problem.
Makes sense.
You know, plus it's near Detroit. I mean, it just all makes sense.
That does make sense. The explanation that you gave. Yeah.
But I do want to ask John about this free camera thing. The other part about this is that I don't know if you know, this was the mayor that made this deal. This is the mayor of DC, who the old AG, the attorney general that was leaving, hated all these companies. Remember, he's been causing so many problems with the big ones too, Flex and Shift and all this. And now it's the mayor making this deal. Here's my thing. Isn't this one of those times where you've kind of screwed yourself because it's going to be something they can hold over your head and say, well, we gave you those cameras.
No, it's probably the deal's probably with the company who they're going to get the cameras from. Because you think they're having this deal for $500,000 and 5,000 cameras. It's probably not Sony, but it's probably some company like that that's getting all of that $500,000 to the
right.
DoorDash.
But DoorDash is paying it.
Yeah, I agree with Steve. This is some well wishing. Let's come in, try to because I'm sure in DC there's a lot of crime going down, clearly. These cameras are going to help. DoorDash is looking to help, trying to make things safer. So I think it's a little bit of trying to make sure everyone's happy. That I do agree with Steve on that one.
Because look, if it comes down to like the new AG or whoever going, now we're going to push that one thing. They're going to we give you free food around voting. We do this.
Look at these cameras we bought. Leave us alone.
Yeah, just keep messing with Shipt and Amazon.
But I mean, you cross the political line too, is my point. Like this directly was done with a mayor. Like this isn't even hidden. It's not even like a group. It's the mayor.
You gotta get your beak wet now and then.
I think DoorDash said, we haven't done any good publicity lately and haven't been in the news. Yeah, let's choose DC and do something good.
I don't, to be honest, look at how often we're looking for good news. I don't think they ever care. I think they are of the old school mentality that any news is good news. And so let it all be bad.
They're still being talked about.
So you're saying they're Uber, like
yeah, a little bit.
Little brother Uber.
But before we go to this to Kim's story, I did want to, because I want to make sure we hit this. So there's two things in Canada that I wanted to ask you about since you're here tonight, because no way do I think these things could work here. But so Amazon Canada and DoorDash are teaming up for an exclusive offer. Don't see how that would work here. But the other one that I thought, and we've Walmart Canada pilots rapid grocery delivery with Skip the Dishes, and they've got 30 minutes on that thing.
I don't know how that's going to work, because the area where they are, like it was talking about more like the western part of Canada.
Yeah.
That's a lot of space.
That's what I was saying before. Like, dude, you have people that live all like, it a lot of land. It could be a long way.
Land to cover. So how are they going to guarantee that a customer is going to get their groceries in 30 minutes?
The drive can be 30 minutes.
But here's my thing. I don't know a ton about Skip the Dishes. I know that they're pretty big where you are.
Yes.
I know that they do well as a company, probably better than some of ours. But Walmart is not going to team up with something and say this and put this out in the news just to watch it fail. Even if they could say, hey, it's Skip the Dishes' fault. They just wouldn't do it. There's got to be a plan, because they really are going to, I'm not advertising Walmart, but to be honest, Walmart's pretty good at following through on their promises.
They have really good processes internally, right? That's why they work so well. It's just like,
Our logistics,
you
is what they're
know,
known for. Yeah.
exactly. And it's like, no matter how much we want to like say, oh, McDonald's, I know Kim loves her McDonald's, but some of the McDonald's, when you go pick up the food, it's horrible, because the one in my area, don't even talk about it. But they're known to have a process. You take the process, you apply the process, and it's going to work. So I have a feeling, because they were talking about having specific warehouses just for this in specific locations. So I have a feeling that they're not going to open it to everybody. Let's say in Alberta, they were talking about Winnipeg, Alberta, and something else. They're not going to open it to everybody, because that's just not going to be possible. So I feel like they might contain it to a certain, you know,
Like a 5 mile delivery radius
kind of thing like that. And I honestly don't see how it can be for everything at Walmart, because that's just.
Yeah, I
There's
know.
actually
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, there's an article that I read that Walmart, they're building this thing that basically, like, it's a contraption that allows them to essentially fill an order all through a machine and do it in, like, I forgot how many minutes, but I have to look up the article. But it sounds like that would be the only way this could really happen, is if they have that machine that essentially, as soon as you put in the order, it basically picks everything in 5 minutes or less, and then it's ready for somebody to drive it within that 5 minutes. That would be the only way that really works.
That sounds like a robot. They're talking about a robot, John?
Yeah, it's like a robot. It's I forgot the name of it. I was looking up an article.
Snap,
like a couple weeks ago.
Hey man, when they start populating, if they ever start populating here in Colorado, just know at least there's one guy who will be taking them out. I will not tolerate it. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with it.
There's gonna be robots for everything.
I'll just go walk around with a 9-iron.
Yeah. I'm just wondering though, how are they going to dispatch the driver quickly enough to be able to do the delivery? Because I understand
you don't have a Spark though, right? You don't have
no, we don't have Spark.
So you don't have something running out of Walmart like Spark.
No, the only thing with Walmart is like, you know, the DoorDash, Uber Eats kind of stuff.
So my only thought is that they're going to have somebody inside shopping it, and then runners outside, like in a Spark type fashion, but a little bit different.
Or it'll be like pickup only, but we'll deliver it from our store to your car within 30 minutes or less.
Are they guaranteeing this time, or this kind of like it's just a sales point? Like it's just like something to attract people? Or just like
I haven't seen like a dollar guarantee, but I've seen the word. Guarantee.
Yeah, it's not like a Domino's thing, like free pizza.
Right.
No.
Yeah, I haven't seen like a dollar or like you're going to save 20 if they're late, but I have seen the word guarantee, so I don't know what that guarantee means.
But
if they're smart, what they'll do is like 20% off your next order.
Yeah. Well, you know, dude, to be honest, they are smart, and it's probably even worse. It's probably like, if we're late, we'll knock that $5.99
the delivery fee out.
You know, like,
but it's much, yeah.
But the point with Walmart is, other companies, if this was an Uber project, I would expect it to not even launch. It would just fail before it even started. Yeah. But when Walmart puts its name on this, it's not like they're just going, we hope this works. Like,
there's definitely a case study that was their dealer. But there's definitely a case study that was made on this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but I'm with you. Like, how? I mean, some people live a half hour from the Walmart, so even if it was ready that second, it's not going to get there.
Yeah, limited delivery radius. It's got to be like 5 miles or less.
And then what do you do in the wintertime? Like in the wintertime, the roads are
cancel the program.
Yeah, exactly. You can't have that type of program in the winter.
Oh, that was
it might take you half an hour just to clean the snow off your car. Like it's.
But if it's anything like Spark, it's only as good as your Walmart is. Like there's always, like, I don't know about anybody else's Walmart, but like there's always staffing issues. So if one person calls out, it throws like the whole process off. God, if 2 or 3 people call out, they might as well shut down the whole Spark process just because they're so far behind and you're sitting there for an hour to 20 minutes. So I feel like this process
there too.
Yeah, I'm on some Spark
message
boards. They say
But
when
this
somebody
one,
in the morning calls out, the day is shot, basically.
Yeah.
but from what I saw, this isn't gonna be like in a Walmart, let's say superstore or whatever, where there's gonna be customers.
It's gonna
This
be like
was
a ghost
distribution
kitchen.
center that's
Right.
gonna be
It'd be the
specifically
robot.
for this.
The
Oh,
big
yeah,
out
robots
robot.
gonna
There we
take
go.
care of it.
Or it'll just
Gonna
be
be the robot.
really fast Canadians. Come on, dude.
Canadian bobsled team just going.
I mean, are they ready for robots to like make sure these orders don't get out on time?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I think they're going to want to blame people for a while. So at least for a while, I think you're going to have some people.
Oh,
It'll
for sure.
probably
Someone's
turn
gonna be
into like what
accountable.
we do to our Amazon workers here in the States. We give them a Gatorade bottle and a uniform, and that's their bathroom.
Wow.
So sad.
Jesus.
It is so sad. It's the kind of thing that I just, at least in my head, I imagine this doesn't happen in your country. I don't know.
Yeah, we have what is it, the Human Charter of Rights or something or the other?
Yeah. I mean, I think we're supposed to belong to all that stuff too, but I just don't think we like paid our dues or something. But yeah, the other thing that before we move into this Kim story, the other thing that I wanted to ask you was, so I liked this. I saw that because we don't often talk about Skip the Dishes and stuff. It's not here, but Skip the Dishes launched an online inflation cookbook. I like this. I don't know why the other apps here are doing it. It sounds great. Like how to feed your family kind of based on like other orders that you've done or whatever, like how to feed your family cheaper for the same type of meals you eat.
It actually looked really cool. I was looking at the article and I didn't download the app, but I was looking at the video that they had of it. And it's really cool because you can put, they tell you like how much it went up or went down and what went down. And then you can decide, okay, well, make recipes from this. And then it shoots out the recipes and it has like the shopping list and the ingredients and directions and everything. And you're like, what? This is like a meal that I would normally order in a restaurant. And now I can make it. Yeah.
I mean, seriously, why is Instacart not doing this?
They're trying.
Because it's Instacart.
Are they?
The whole Chat GPT.
I know, but see, like this is a perfect example. I feel like Chat GPT steps behind this because this is saying, hey, you're on a budget, things are tough. Here's the kind of food meals you eat for about 70% of the price. We're just saying, hey, we got this thing that if you can't find mustard, it'll tell you which other mustard to get. Like, who are we?
It'll tell you to get mustard seeds because we all know Instacart substitutions aren't the best.
I mean, I saw the thing with Aldi too. I see that we're trying to make those race for the clock. Well, I think Aldi was at an hour. Aldi's guaranteeing an hour through the Instacart app, but they've got like a couple ghost stores going too. But I mean, why can Walmart do it in 30 minutes? In Canada, where everything's farther.
Why are we looking to get things as like the fastest way possible? Like, do you need your groceries in 30 minutes? I mean,
yeah,
that's society now.
Depends if you're
The
cooking.
30 minutes, I'm ordering DoorDash.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, why are we pushing? Because that's the reason why Amazon employees in the warehouse are going to the bathroom and a Gatorade bottle. They're so afraid.
How lazy we are, and how lazy they're making us. Though, like, look, we know you only order when you're out of groceries and there's nothing to eat. We know that you'll go, I need groceries and I need them now.
I need them right this second just to go in the fridge. And it just, so like,
you're going to order food anyways.
We're turning into Wall-E. We're turning into the movie Wall-E.
Yeah. But there's a group of workers that are going through it to get the next day shipping done, to get the 1 day shipping done. Yeah. Where every time I see Amazon delivery driver, they look exhausted. They look out of it.
Oh yeah,
they're overworked. They're probably underpaid because we want it right now, and so it's really difficult to even talk to some people who are fans of DoorDash, Uber Eats. Hey, you should tip more. Like, I don't want to do that. So
I don't know about that.
I don't know about all that. That much? I don't know. They get enough money. I want it right now, though.
And that's something else. But before we hit this last story of Kim's tipping in Canada.
Yes.
It's not, I mean, I know it's not most, I've done a lot of travel for production work around the world. And I know tipping's not prevalent in most places. Here, even it's getting pretty bad. We don't even see tips anymore. But do you guys even, are you guys even getting tips, or are you getting a better base pay? I mean, I guess you get free medical, so that's pretty cool.
So yeah, but we're heavily taxed. It's insane. So our base pay is higher. So let's say with DoorDash, the DoorDash base pay in my area, I could only speak for my area, is $4. And let's say Skip the Dishes, it's $4.45. Uber Eats, it's $3. Tip-in, it depends on the area, because, so I'll speak for Quebec. Quebec is very big. You have a lot of different municipalities. And then let's say if you're talking about Montreal specifically, you have a lot of tourism and you have a lot of people from different countries that come to Montreal. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have a lot of different cultures which feel differently about tip-in. So this is why it depends what area you're in. You might see better tips or you might see worse tips, because some cultures just, they don't tip. It's not something that they normally do. Whereas another area, you're going to get a lot of tips. So personally, in my case, I do get pretty good tips. I don't see anything like Kim sees. Every time I see Kim's videos, I'm like, I need to go where she is, because I don't see that. But I do get decent tips. But then you also get a lot of people that just don't tip. And
so,
you're
you're kind of in a different position, because if every order is whatever you in the fours, which is still just ridiculous.
That $4 base pay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll take that.
But does that mean you pretty much take every one? Because the only thing otherwise you're looking at is miles, right? I mean, you're just looking at miles because you already know that's all being paid, maybe a tip, and of course that'll come after. So
yeah, so I don't take no tip orders unless. So with Skip the Dishes, they have this thing where like they top up your order and all that kind of stuff. I actually spoke about that in one of the latest videos I did. So it ended up being $12 for like 2 kilometers, but that was a no tip order. But because the area where I live, it's considered like a suburb, so there's not a lot of drivers. So already they give us like a top up, you can call it. And then when your acceptance rate is above a certain percentage, which I don't know how, but my acceptance rate was above 80. And I was like, this is weird. And they topped that up as well. So I had kind of like 2 top ups on that order, which is why it came up to $12. But a note, like I had one today, which was 4 something, because my acceptance rate was 70 whatever percent. So it was 4 something plus the $4 because I'm in a secluded area, because I'm in the suburbs.
Yeah, I would think they would just take the acceptance rate away for you guys, because it's almost like you're just taking every one. I mean, I get it. Now you can see, I'm glad you can see in some way if there is a tip.
Yes. So with Uber, when I started with Uber, I couldn't see tips. Like there was no tip transparency or anything like that. No. So everything came in at $3, and it's like a guessing game. But the area, especially where I am, it is such a big area that you don't want to chance it. So my DoorDash acceptance rate, which is actually pretty high right now, it's at like 12. Uber Eats is at 8. Skip the Dishes is the only one, but it's because it's also not really busy in my area. And I'm very part-time. Like I'm maybe 15 hours a week, if that much.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I would just bet, just to guess, that you guys all have higher acceptance rates than the United States drivers.
I would kind of agree with that, because also it seems like Canadians don't challenge as much as well. So I've spoken with a lot of drivers and told them, you don't have to accept everything. And they're like, well, what do you mean? Like it's in red and it's this. And I'm like, so it's just a color. Like you have to read your TOS. You have to, but a lot of people don't do that. And they're just going to accept and accept and accept. And I'm like, and I would walk into a store or a restaurant and I'm like, I declined that order. That's like $3 going 20 kilometers. What are you doing? Like, why would you take that? But, they feel like they have to take these orders, which is
it's interesting.
Also,
So you
why
guys, we all need to move to Canada. You're safer. You don't get tip
Depend on the
baited.
area.
I'm guessing there's never been one tip baiting up there.
You do get tip baited. I think I was tip baited once though. So
There
I'm
it
not
was.
a,
That's the one.
yeah. I'm not a.
It was an American on vacation.
Exactly.
But I mean, I guess my point is like even that I don't see in the news. None of the stuff that we do here do I see up in their news. And yes, do I look? Yeah, I do look for the website that I populate every day. I do look up there, and they just don't. They're not killing drivers. They're not. I mean, the tipping thing, if it's not a problem, I mean, it seems like we've gone down on tipping, and they have some level of tipping, so it's like probably the same. And you get free healthcare. And my advice to everybody is just to move to Canada right now.
Yeah, but then
pack
your
it up.
taxes are ridiculous.
Can you
Like,
get
in
into
Quebec,
Canada?
we're
That's another question.
double taxed. So it's like, yeah, okay, you're making it, but then you get spanked with the taxes afterwards, and you have potholes the size of your tire. So, you know, where's the money going?
Yeah, I'm just, I'm sure it's getting expensive up there too, but the cost of living here, Hannibal has got it the worst, of course, but like we've all got
I think
it.
Kim
pretty
got it
bad.
worse than me.
I don't know how that's possible, but okay. I mean,
It is
You live-
expensive. I don't think it's as expensive as New York City, though. New York City is ridiculous.
I'm in Brooklyn. I'm not in New York. I'm not in
yeah,
Manhattan.
but still, you live in the epicenter of. You couldn't just if tomorrow you had to go rent a place, Hannibal. You couldn't go find it.
I'm screwed. I'm screwed. I think they want like 40 times your base salary. Some places,
Goodness.
like whatever it is, they want you to know that you can afford this 40 times over what the rent is.
It's crazy.
So 6 figures or bust.
So Kim is going to talk to us about I saw a few ones that I thought were pretty funny, but you're going to talk to us about the guy who wanted it delivered right to the pool or whatever.
Yeah, so there
People
was people are just ridiculous. And I actually had something semi-similar happen to me. So that's why I actually picked the story. So there was a TikToker, she was a dasher, and she got a text message. She was just doing a regular order and got a text message on the way there. And it was a leave at door. And it was really rude. It actually says at the effing pool. Deliver it to the pool. And the girl responded back, my job is deliver it to the person's door. I'm not your servant. LOL. So, first of all, the guts to say something like that to your delivery driver to me is absolutely wacky. And what they didn't show is before that, it says, please make sure there's condiments, forks, and napkins, please. And then he goes to say, please deliver it to the pool. So on top of all of that, she did not deliver it to the pool. She left it at the door.
Did he say, please deliver it to the pool or please deliver it to the effing pool?
I'm at the effing pool. Quote unquote.
Because the effing wrecks the whole please thing.
Yeah.
So.
And to find out, it was an $8 order. It was all $8 base pay. He didn't even tip something.
Of course not.
So the reason why I chose this story is because I'm literally so close to the beach. I'm literally only 10 minutes away from the beach line. I learned in my very first year doing any gig work, I do not go close to the beach from Memorial Day all the way through until Labor Day, because I can't tell you my very first year, I fell for it every single time. You see this big order and they say deliver it, and it's on like the road right before the beach, and people use addresses to the houses on like right on the beach, and they want you to deliver to them on the beach, and you're like, no. Like, that's not how it works. And it's always like meet at door, Uber Eats, it's handed, like there's so many entitled people. To me, it's ridiculous. So
but they can't get off the beach and walk over to the street to get the food.
Oh, I made them. I'm like, I'm not going
what?
to the beach. You're out of your mind. Like, no, like that's not how this works.
I mean, you did most of the work. You took it to the area. They can't walk over. It's just
Yeah.
lazy and being
So
inconsiderate.
from literally my very first summer doing this, I do not go to the shoreline during the summer. Like I stay in my 10 minutes away from the beach in my own little bubble. People, drivers, you can have at it. You can have all those orders. And not only that, the parking, oh, no. But anyway,
That's
it
the
kind of
parking, yeah.
reminds me of this order because I do get a lot of times, please, I'm at the pool, please deliver it to the pool. And I'm always like, really? Really? And like a lot of it's in people's backyards and you feel weird going through like a gate and going to the pool.
Yep.
I don't know. I've seen this happen more often than not, and it just reminds me of very
Or they're the
entitled-
next door neighbors just laughing, waiting for you to get arrested.
right? Can you
And they just
imagine?
called you to the house next door. They're like, dummy, look at her walking around on this person's property.
It just reminds, like, I don't know. To me, I feel like this is just an entitled kid somehow, like living off of mommy and daddy's money, lounging by the pool, that they can't just go to the front door to go grab.
I feel like that should even just be. I just assumed that somewhere, because I don't read the customer side TOS, but I assumed that it was, hey man, we're not going to go digging into your basement to place this food.
No,
Like,
they're
you
gonna
can have it
deliver
placed
yeah.
underneath at the door. Sorry,
It's called DoorDash. It'll be at your
Yeah.
door.
Yeah, we're not gonna. I'm not gonna climb a tree for you.
Yeah.
You know, like climb tree and bring it up to the tree house.
No, like
what
even
is-
today, like I had a delivery and the instructions were bring it inside my door, not outside. I'm like, no, dude, I don't go into people's houses. Your food's gonna be left outside. Like
Right.
That's crazy.
for the safety of myself, like no, your stuff will be left outside. Have a good day. You
I
can
feel
give
like
me
we're
a
gonna see a lot more bring it to the backyards right now
Yeah.
because summer's here. Like obviously, if it's summer all the time, you see this anytime. But I know over here, I've had a few bring it to the back. I'm at the pool in their backyard, and
Yep.
I'm like, this is so weird and sketchy. Like you're going through gates. I don't know if you have an animal. Like, yeah.
Oh yeah. But see, that's why I like DoorDash versus the other platforms. DoorDash, no tip baiting. You don't gotta worry about that. It's like it's gonna get to your door and that's gonna be it. And I'm gonna keep that tip.
Yeah.
Whatever it might be.
It was worthy enough at the beginning. It was enough to get to your door, not enough to get to your backyard.
Right, but I'm just, again, it's just crazy. We don't know what the tip is.
Well, that one it was $8 and no tip. It was all basic. When my kid mentioned that.
Like
Yeah,
I said,
that's
to say
crazy.
I haven't delivered it to someone at a pool, that would be a lie. I've delivered it to a couple people that have been by the pool. But this blatantly rude, I probably wouldn't say your order's at the door. Come get it.
Yeah, I'm not after you're rude. Yeah, too much dignity after that.
So
Yeah.
you guys do not, I'm guessing there's not a chance, well, maybe, but that you have the hourly pay for DoorDash?
We don't have that. Well, I don't have it.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't know how that would work if all the orders are $4. You can only do 2 an hour. Or...
I don't know how they would do the hourly pay because wouldn't you have to make sure? Well, it's the same thing with you guys though. Like every state is different, right? Like every area is different.
They don't change a ton, but it's somewhere between 13 and 17 everywhere in the United States.
I don't have it in my
probably.
area.
We don't.
yet.
Yeah, we don't have it here.
Well, I mean, if you do have it,
They don't need
Yeah.
it. They
You
just
do have it, yeah.
people got enough people here to do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
and that's
mean,
the other thing. If you have enough people that are doing it, and that's the thing, there's a lot of people here that are taking those no tip orders. So do they really need to do that? Not really.
well, I think the thing is I think the reason that DoorDash really wanted to push that, I think they are completely engulfed in seeing how low of orders we'll take.
Mhm.
I think this is like half of the team is spending how low will they work for? And I don't know. I'm of the impression that the hourly people, I know like delivering with Ellen. Ellen has tried it and she got a couple tip orders, but one thing she mentioned that I've heard from other people that have done it, you're getting all the long mile trips. They're basically using it to get all the crap out.
Well, yeah, it's gonna be basically if they could give it to you on an hourly, they're going to perfect their algorithm to,
Right,
get
but then if
all
they
the
have you
crap out.
driving 25 hours to rural out of Denver and then 25 hours deadheading back, or 25 miles, I mean, to take this order, that's a whole hour.
Gone.
And I now wasted 50 miles. I mean,
But you got $15.
Yeah, exactly. You got a higher base pay.
right, but now I got to go replace that 2 gallons of gas. So I made $5.
I heard it was
You
really
gotta
good
pay
at the
tax on
beginning
it
when it
either.
just came out.
Yeah, taxes.
Wear and tear. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was really it. There's more, and we'll hit on it tomorrow night. But the only other thing that I had was we have a few stories on Instacart. We will definitely just plow them tomorrow. I am like livid with them. I do understand where they're going now, and I see that it is now technology. It's like the only technology company. I thought they were going to be done. They are getting their value back up. I think they're just going to become tech. They also have the feature to now have favorite shoppers. I think that's very smart. I don't know why they didn't do that long ago. And then there was a story about, again, another one from Daily Dot, but same type of one as Kim's, that Instacart driver carries in elderly customers' groceries, and she got in touch with her to tell her, is there any chance you could do this? The tip was in there. She removed the tip.
It's crazy.
So the elderly are now tip baiting. So
Yeah, how
don't
do they
think
know
because they're
about
old
that?
and cute, they're nice.
What
He's like,
grandson
I'm
or
sorry,
granddaughter told them about that?
So, hey, Grandma, I know you're on a fixed income. Let me teach you something.
They shouldn't know about that.
But yeah, I mean, there's more that we'll be talking about too, because it's like there's articles out, there's videos out about exposing the pitfalls of Instacart. In Texas family, and this is in Austin, where we always heard from a few different people that it was like one of their best markets. Texas family warns of Instacart shopper theft and how to prevent it. We're gonna go through all this tomorrow because there's a lot of Instacart crap out there right now. But I think that we did good. Covered it in an hour 15. It was awesome having you on. Thank you for joining us. And everybody, thank you for joining us. I know I didn't go through the chat tonight. I'm sorry, guys. Sometimes when we have a guest, thrown. Or if we don't have a guest, thrown. I don't know. But that's a wrap. Thank you for an amazing weekly panel, to our amazing weekly panel, and to everybody for joining us tonight or on replay. So until next Thursday, be safe, earn smart. Peace, y'all, and have a good night.
Thanks.